Hi, everybody. Welcome to lesson 12-2. It's topic 12, lesson 2. More converting units of measure. In this case, we're converting units of capacity. Now, hopefully you watched the King Gallon video. The gallon man basically tells you how many quarts there are in a gallon, how many cups there are in a quart, how many pints there are in a quart, and so on. That information will always be given to you, so you can just check. So you don't have to memorize that, but it's eventually, after you practice it a number of times, it's good to know. I'm actually just going to write it out for you so you don't have to do the thinking, but when you do the worksheet, you'll see, just click the little blue icon and it'll tell you what the information is that you need. Okay, same steps as yesterday. We need to remember the triangle, and the triangle being, if we go from big to small, when we go from big to small, we're going to multiply, and we go from small to big, we're going to divide. Okay, that's the key. So let's try the first one. Let's try 10 pints. I'm sorry, that looks bad. Let's try 10 pints equals how many quarts? Okay, so first and foremost, a pint is smaller than a quart. So I know, and you'll know eventually, that there are 2 pints in 1 quart. Okay, and because we're going from small to big, we're going to divide. Okay, so all I'm doing is I'm going to take the 10, I'm going to divide it by 2. 10 divided by 2 is 5. 5 quarts. Done. So this is the key that you need to do for every step. You need to think this stuff out. All right. This is given. This is what you need to think about. All right. And this is where the practice is. And that's why watching that video is important. So you know which unit is bigger than the other. Let's try another. Let's try 32 cups equals how many gallons? Well, you should know that a cup is smaller than a gallon. There are 16 cups in 1 gallon. Okay, so we're going from small to big, which means we're going to divide. Okay, I'm going to divide 32 by the 16. 32 divided by 16. Okay, you know 32 divided by 16 is 2. Okay, 16 times 2 is 32 if you want to double check yourself. But if there are 16 cups in 1 gallon and there's 16 cups in another gallon, 16 plus 16 is 32, so you have 2 gallons. Pretty simple. We'll get a little progressively harder. The end is probably the hardest. All right, let's go 48 quarts. I want to know how many pints that is. Well, I know that there are 2 pints in 1 quart. And I'm going from a bigger unit to a smaller unit. Okay, quarts is bigger than pints. So because I'm going from big to small, I'm going to multiply. I'm just going to multiply 48 by the 2. Okay, and if you can't do this in your head, just do it off to the side. 48 times 2. 8 times 2 is 16. Carry the 1. 4 times 2 is 8. Plus 1 is 9. That's 96, which means that's 96 pints. So far, so good. Let's try another. Okay, this one's 3 quarts and 1 pint. And I want to know how many pints that is altogether. I'm going to deal with him at the end. Let's first work with the quarts, okay? I know that there are 2 pints in 1 quart, okay? If I'm going from quarts to pints, I'm going from big to small. Because I'm going from big to small, that means I'm going to multiply. So I'm going to first multiply this 3 by the 2. All right, that converts this quarts into pints. Okay, and 3 times 2 is 6. So that means that this 3 quarts became 6 pints. Now all I have to do is add it on to the other one. And 6 plus 1 is 7 pints. And they try to trick you by adding this little pint on here at the end, but really just convert this one first, and then we get to the end. Okay, let's try another. A little bit harder this time. 1/2 quart equals how many gallons? Okay. Well, I know that there are 4 quarts in 1 gallon. And we're going from a small unit to a big unit. All right, which means we are going to divide. Now, it's important just to write this out. Okay, I'm dividing 1/2 by 4. So my equation is 1/2 divided by 4. Now, this is your division of fractions that we just practiced in the last chapter. Okay, we're going to keep the first unit. And I'm going to change the color. Keep the first unit, which is the 1/2. Change the sign to multiplication. Put this over 1 and flip it. So 4 over 1 becomes 1 over 4. 1 times 1 is 1. 2 times 4 is 8. So 1/2 quart is actually 1/8 of a gallon. That makes sense because 1/8 is less than 1/2. All right, that's about as tricky as it'll get. Let's try one more. 6 1/8 quarts equals how many cups? Well, I know that there are 4 cups in 1 quart. All right. So I'm going from a big unit to a small unit, which means I'm going to multiply. So I'm going to multiply the 6 1/8 by 4. Now we have converted this. We've converted this 6 1/8 to an improper fraction in order to multiply in the past, and that's perfectly fine, and that always works. But just for this particular problem, because I'm multiplying by a whole number, I'm multiplying by the 4, all I'm going to do is do 6 times 4 first. And I know that 6 times 4 is 24, all right? And because this is a fraction, then I'm going to do 1/8 times 4. I'm going to get 4 over 8, which is equal to 1/2. So my answer is 24 1/2. All right, now you could have done this. All right, you could have converted it, and if you're used to doing it that way and you're okay with doing it that way, you could have done. Let's take the 6 1/8. Let's convert it. 6 times 8 is 48, plus 1 is 49 over 8. We could do 49 over 8 times 4 over 1. Okay, you get that number over 8. Then you do 49 times 4. It's just going to be a bigger number. Okay, because 4 times 9 is 36. 4 times 4 is 16. Plus 3 is 196. So you're going to have to then do 196 divided by 8. If you do 196 divided by 8, you're going to get 24 4/8. Okay, which is equal to 24 1/2. But if you wanted to do this, you could. You just need to eventually convert it over to 24 1/2. Both ways are fine. This was the quicker way. All right. I'm going to see who's been watching these videos. I think many of you have, and I appreciate that. You've been saying that they're very helpful. Okay. Let's put a little. I'm going to put a little teaser up there. All right. I'm going to put this problem up, and I want you. Don't tell anybody. I just want you to post this answer on the stream. How many gallons is 72 pints? Post your answer on the stream. And I'll see you soon.